Hello Cogitantes! It's been a while since my first video on Eve, and I realize I have discussed all the characters in Stellar Blade extensively without giving the protagonist her due focus. In fact, she deserves even more attention, given that, besides being the main character, she is a figure full of complexities, as highlighted in my recent videos on the 2/3 endings of the game. Today, I'll zero in on one particular aspect, arguably the most important one and the topic of much discussion since the game's release. In one word, this. Yes, we're going to talk about aesthetics, which the developers have admitted to giving special attention. But why? Now that the battlefield has settled after the fiery clash between Twitter sensationalists and the Western journalistic clergy, leaving only the truly interested gamers standing amid the cooling embers of debate, we can critically examine what lies behind Eve. It is just a bottom, or there is more to it? Let's dive in and find out. In my previous videos, I've only scratched the surface of Eve's aesthetics, as well as those of Raven. I've made a few comments on her beauty, which is a delightful aspect to explore, especially in our uncertain times. Why? Because, in an era marked by a vacuum of values, the need for beauty and art becomes even more pressing. They stand as the ultimate bastion of culture, the shining citadel that Dostoevsky believed would save the world. They remind us of the potential for goodness and the sublime in our existence. In my earlier video on Eve, I referenced an article by Jean Park which discussed Eve as a character coded with Korean beauty standards. But what does this really mean? There's a very popular book on this topic by Elise titled Flawless Lessons in Looks and Culture from the K-Beauty Capital. I highly recommend it if you want to delve deeper into this subject. The book outlines the main features of Korean beauty standards, which I've noticed in other Korean games like Lies of P. When I applied these standards to Eve, the results were quite shocking. There are 13 parameters in total. Number 1. Small face. First up is the small face. While this might not be as prized in Western cultures, it is highly desirable in many Asian countries, particularly South Korea. Some suggest that because Asians often have smaller eyes, a smaller face balances this feature. Anyway, check. Number 2. V-shaped face. The Korean beauty standards often require a V-shaped face, characterized by a narrow jawline and a pointed chin. This shape isn't as common in Western beauty canons, but it's highly sought after in South Korea. Many undergo facial bone contouring surgeries to achieve this look. Check. Number 3. Porcelain white skin. Unlike Western beauty standards that often favor tanned or bronzed skin, South Koreans prefer porcelain white or pale skin. This preference dates back to ancient times and remains a significant standard today. Check. Number 4. Pointed nose. A small, pointy nose is another coveted feature in Korean beauty standards. Procedures like rhinoplasty are popular to achieve this refined look. Check. Number 5. Big eyes. South Koreans love a youthful and innocent appearance, often achieved through big, doe-like eyes. Many opt for surgeries, including double eyelid surgery and fat or filler injections under the eyes to enhance this feature. Celebrities like Hyuna, Jihyo, Lisa, Jisoo, and Minju are known for their big eyes. Check. Number 6. Double eyelids are one of the most popular beauty standards in South Korea. Since many Koreans are born with monolids, double eyelid surgery, or East Asian blepharoplasty, is common to create a crease in the upper eyelid. Check. Number 7. Straight eyebrows. While the West might favor the eyebrows on fleek look, Korean beauty standards prefer straight eyebrows for a more youthful and innocent appearance. Check. Number 8. Plump lips. Historically, thin lips were the norm in Korea, but nowadays plump, heart-shaped lips are admired. The lower lip should be fuller than the upper one, and the lip line should curve upward when smiling. The procedures like lip fillers are common to achieve this look. Check. Number 9. Aligned teeth. Aligned teeth are crucial in Korean beauty standards, which is why many Koreans wear braces during their youth. Wearing braces as an adult is less common. Check. Number 10. Slim body. Contrary to the curvy bodies often celebrated in Western beauty standards, South Koreans prefer slim figures. Both male and female idols typically maintain a slender physique. South Korea's low obesity rate, despite its rich cuisine, is notable. Procedures like liposuction and fat-burning injections are popular to maintain a slim body. Check. Number 11. 90-degree shoulder line. A straight shoulder line or a 90-degree shoulder line is highly desirable. Jeannie Kim of Blackpink is a perfect example of this feature. Check. Number 12. Long legs. Long legs are a prized feature in South Korea, ideally making your body length 8 times the length of your face. This 8-headed body figure is a key standard. Check. Number 13. Tight gap. Finally, having a tight gap is a contemporary beauty standard in Korea. When standing with feet together, the gap between the inner tights is considered attractive. Many exercises and procedures can help achieve this look. Check. So Eve has been clearly designed following the golden standard of Korean beauty to the letter. But where do these standards come from? In order to understand it, we have to put aside Stellar Blade and talk about the context where Stellar Blade is produced. There's a bit of history to consider, although it should not be overstated. Stanford scholar Sorim Lee details in her PhD thesis how modern Koreans' investment in appearance has its roots in an ancient custom known as gwansang, fortune-telling based on facial physiognomy. This belief system, which dates back to approximately the 7th century, holds that the features of a person's face comprise a map that reveals personality, as well as past, present, and future. It cannot be disputed that Confucian influence has had a long-lasting impact. As noted in the Analects, Confucius believed harmony could exist among people only if they knew their place and stayed in it. Ideas that have reverberated for centuries and had profound implications for the way the East Asian self-experiences reality. During Confucianism's heyday under Korea's Joseon dynasty, which lasted from the 14th century until 1910, the Korean people came to understand their bodies as hereditary gifts. A son's body belonged to his parents, and any kind of self-harm, which included tattoos and cutting hair, was seen as disgraceful. Clear, bright, flawless skin was valuable back then too. Under the Confucian system, women's bodies needed to reflect purity, and that meant a fair complexion. Blemishes were considered unappealing because they disrupted the original state of women's bodies. Nowadays, beauty is rehearsed in a purely utilitarian fashion globally. What is beautiful is often considered what is useful. And in South Korea, beauty has become a form of soft power diplomacy, which is the ability to influence others' behavior through subtle attraction rather than coercion. This concept is evident in the cultural impact of South Korea. From the global sensation of Gangnam Style, the Gangnam district in the capital Seoul is considered the heart of the South Korean beauty industry, to the stark portrayal of capitalist inequalities in Squid Game, from the Oscar-winning film Parasite to the international music phenomenon BTS. In addition to the aggressive influencer marketing strategy, the consumption rituals of what is called K-beauty products and their association with a supposed ancestral tradition of connection with the natural world are the main drivers of this growing market. In the context of cultural globalization, authenticity has become a highly marketable and malleable attribute to make a product appealing. This is where the concept of mythologization of beauty comes into play. By suggesting that Koreans have historically taken meticulous care of their beauty, like their skin, marketers create a narrative that this tradition has evolved into a modern skincare routine comprised of innovative products. The use of natural ingredients in these products further strengthens the association with the nature and tradition. Many attribute the use of these natural ingredients to home practices passed down from mothers and grandmothers, such as mung bean compresses. But this is a lie. Retracing the history of Korean beauty rituals reveals no trace of one of the most iconic routines of K-beauty, the extensive skincare regimen that has become synonymous with Korean beauty today. According to the Korean philosopher Byung-Chul, this cult of smoothness in Korea not only has no clear historical roots, but also has, paradoxically, impoverished contemporary beauty. Han describes smoothness as a characteristic of the new digital beauty, which feeds on a smooth positivity that deprives us of the possibility of being hurt, an essential component of experiencing true aesthetic depth. He speaks of a cult of surfaces free of ripples, devoid of depth and abyss. The smoothness highlighted in Byung-Chul Han's book The Salvation of Beauty is the key concept upon which the marketing of Korean cosmetic products is based today. The term glass skin, literally meaning a skin that is free of imperfections, purified, and perfectly smooth, now fills the TikTok feeds and Instagram pages of Westerners too. Videos, often sponsored, feature Korean girls demonstrating the steps necessary for perfect facial care. These steps include nourishing serums, masks, foams, and creams that promise to dissolve any type of makeup, showcasing very smooth skin with magically disappeared blemishes. This phenomenon suggests that smoothness is indeed the zeitgeist of our time. The appeal of flawless, glass-like skin has transcended cultural boundaries, becoming a global standard of beauty. It reflects a broader societal trend towards perfectionism and control, where imperfections are not tolerated and smooth, polished appearances are the ultimate goal. Now, this is a pressing issue in Korea. Imagine growing up with immense pressure to succeed in a highly competitive environment. People are expected to earn significant money to meet traditional and conservative societal expectations. This includes obtaining a top degree from one of the three best Korean universities, usually grouped under the acronym SKY, securing a prestigious job, buying an apartment, getting married by the age of 30, and providing their child with the same opportunities. The weight of these expectations can be overwhelming, affecting both personal and professional lives. So why does this matter for Stellar Blade? Stellar Blade is a mass-market product, particularly targeted at South Korea, the fourth largest gaming market globally, which wants to play a leading role in gaming since recently the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism explained that it will work on expanding the country's share in the global console game market by 2028. Eve in Stellar Blade conveys an image that Koreans are expected to conform to, an image now slowly spreading to the West through the influence of K-pop, K-drama, and K-beauty in games. Eve embodies the shift towards individualism, which contrasts with the collective logic of confusion, social harmony. She represents the pervasive narcissism of mass consumption that reflects the pressure to adhere to market-imposed beauty standards in Korea. Don't get me wrong, I'm not against beauty in games, and I love Eve as she is. If you ask me what is beauty, in my view, can be summarized in two fundamental theoretical complexes. First, as the Greek teach us, beauty must be harmony and proportion between the parts, not excessive in any direction, meaning too fat or too skinny. Secondly, referring to Montesquieu, beauty is not an absolute perfection, but about finding that something that captivates us, that drives us crazy. It is certainly subjective to claim something is beautiful, but in our immediate sensation of subjective beauty, there is always a claim to universalization. And there is nothing wrong with that. We do it because there are universal standards of beauty rooted in history that resist the relativization of time. And that is why there is nothing wrong with beauty in Stellar Blade. This is what Dostoevsky meant, that beauty will save the world. What I'm trying to say is that beauty for the sake of beauty is not wrong. What is wrong is beauty for utility's sake, the commodification of beauty. To put it simple, beauty to make money, as it happens for the globalized phenomenon that K-beauty is becoming, pushed by soft power strategies driven by movies, music, and now games. I do not have a solution for this, but I would like to say that these are things that must be at least taken into consideration when experts claim to talk about a Korean game before either dismissing a protagonist's aesthetic with comments like "this is not a real woman" or "this woman is against political correctness." It reveals a superficial Western-centric and presumptuous attitude towards different cultures. It is a narrow view which overlooks the true meaning of beauty on the one hand and all the problems with the deep-seated cultural norms about beauty in Korea on the other. So the next time you encounter a beautifully designed character in a Korean game, you will know the cultural context behind its beauty, which goes far beyond the noise of Western culture wars. What are your thoughts? Have you noticed similar trends in other Korean games with male or female protagonists? Leave a comment and let's talk about it. Thanks for watching. Before you leave, don't forget to like and subscribe to join our small but pugnacious community of cogitantes. Happy mindful gaming, and see you next time!